I have class with me, three with me. I think I have another one coming, but maybe not. Just so you know at home what it looks like on this end. Um, so I wanted to, we started our 21 days, beautiful private Facebook page on the first, which you can always jump into if you want. But one of the things that I had an inspiration about, and I'll share with you as well, um, is this idea of, the part of why Josh and I are doing this 21 days is just an inspiration to move us toward this place of dreaming bigger. The idea that, and I've said this over and over again, that our world seems to have opened up in such a big way, even though for some people the perception can be that it closed down. And that also did happen for sure. But it also gave us an opening that I don't think we ever expected, or we never knew of. And so for me and in my perspective, it feels that the world has given us an opportunity to dream even bigger than we could have ever imagined. And also, which gets a little witchy and wacky, but I'm okay with that, also open to different vibrational worlds and many galaxies and all of the things that exist here that we cannot see. So just not only open our world that we can see, but also opening a world that maybe we can't see, and different dimensions and things that we can continue to meditate with, even to connect on a more conscious level with earth, water, fire, air. And I'm going to play a little bit with that today as well. But we as yogis, we hear these ideas of, oh, they're elements. They're called the elements: earth, water, fire, air. And we go, oh, how nice is that? And then we kind of leave it at that subtle level. But there's so much more to attract these elements into our everyday existence. What does earth, water, and fire, and air, how do they give us these places to dream even bigger? So one of the thoughts, and I'll read something to you, but maybe, hi, honey, maybe this is what we'll start with, is the idea of when you have a dream, right? You have something that you really wish for, and I know I've said this in meditation before, but something you really want. And I've always said that any dream that you have is definitely yours. So really own that, because many of us probably dream of being, by the ocean or living by water or living in the mountains or whatever. So there is a collective energy, because that energy is very healing. But what you sincerely dream for yourself comes from inside of you, comes from your soul's energy, from your journey, from the eighth and ninth chakra, right? Those are even more opportunity to say, what? There's not just seven? Yeah, there's so many more. There's so many more swirling, whirling vortexes of energy to connect to. So when we see our dreams and we dream them and we wish for them and we hope for them, this is what I think is very interesting and funny, is then the universe co-creates with us, and we see a little portion of what our dream is. So like an example would be, if I'm not certainly looking for a lover, I got one. But if you're looking for, somebody to come into your life that you want to spend the life, your soulmate, your whatever, and you kind of put into perspective the places that you want that person to have, what you hope for. They're going to have a sense of humor, they're going to have wisdom, they're going to be kind, they're going to be generous. You put all those things, and then into your life comes a person, and they're kind of like that. They maybe out of 10 of your things that you want, they have maybe 5. And you're like, you know what, that's good enough. And then you stop it. And the universe then says to you, but wait, we just got started. Oh, that's enough? Okay. See, this is the deal with the universe energy, is that you must co-create. And once you stop, or once you block, or once you say that's enough or that's good enough, then the energy stops flowing in that direction. It doesn't mean that it won't then spiral back and help you find your way back, but it means that the more you shut down, or the more your perspective is, okay, that was my dream. It's not exactly my dream, but I'll take it. Then you move on to something else. Well, the universe has to move on with you, right? Otherwise, there's a stagnation. So I wanted to read you something, and then we'll move a lot. The universe always mirrors back to us the conditions of our dreaming. So if we're fearful for money, for example, that money won't come, it won't. However, if we experience abundance with what we have today, even if we don't actually have money right now, we will have abundance. and we can be sure that future riches are on their way. So again, your perspective, if you are constantly playing the lottery because you don't have enough, and you're constantly in the future, it's going to, then you won't see that right now, even if there's not money in your account, that you are abundant. So there's a lot of perspective plays here that I want to work with. So close your eyes if you haven't yet. And trust me, whenever I do this with you, it's because I'm doing it for me. Breathe for just a moment into this moment. And in this moment arrives all the multi-dimensions that exist, whether we can see or feel them or not. And one of the greatest relationships we have is with that supreme consciousness. The opportunity to co-create with the wisdom of the universe. How much more could we ask for? Yet part of it is to clear out what seems to be repeating itself over and over again that maybe we don't love. And the only way to clear that out is to maybe have the opportunity to open up to new dimensions, new possibilities, new creativities. And for that, I bring in the fire element. So draw your navel in and up, squeeze and lift your pelvic floor, squeeze your spine and get really tall here. Keep breathing like that. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, maybe even a slight tuck in your chin, Jalandhara Bandha. Circulating that spiraling energy through your body, clearing space. And then bring your hands together at your heart center in prayer. And inhale for the sound of Om, deep breath in. The fire in each and every one of us. Yes, it is our digestion. But each flame is a flame of possibilities, a flame of the goddess, a flame of creativity. May fire inspire our words, our thoughts, our actions. Release your hands, open your eyes, and come into child's pose, please. Long, deep breathing. And the elements, your earth, the water, the air, the fire. Can we return over and over again to these as our teachers, as our guides? Rise up onto your hands and knees. Slide your right leg behind you. Put your toes on the floor. And slide your right leg over to the left. Look over your left shoulder. Really feel that side body as it breathes a little deeper into the wind energy. The wind is a carrier. Thinking of prayer flags as they move with the wind, conveying those prayers all directions. Come back to center, release the knee down, switch sides. And the wind is taking energy away from me and giving energy to me. Move into your breath, the air, the fire, the earth, the water. Return, return, return. And come on back, downward facing dog. With the power of this body and this mind, may we continue to create big. Maybe that's the mantra today: the earth, the fire, the water, the air. Return, return, return. Each time in the Ramayana that Sita placed herself in the fire, it was both to restore, to renew, and to destroy. Walk your feet up to your hands, standing forward bend. You can bend your knees just a little bit here if you'd like, dropping deeply into your feet. And then clasp your hands behind your back, shrug your shoulders towards your ears. Take your arms up and over any mouth. Let your jaw be relaxed. Let wind pass through your lips, your nose, your eyes. And then let your seat drop very low and take your arms forward and up into chair. Place your hands down onto your thighs and begin to cat and cow. You think of the elements and how there's no conversation with the elements of that's good enough. For wind will bring itself to its highest or its softest breeze. It does what's necessary. Draw the navel in, reach the arms up and alongside the ears, rise up to stand. Take hold of your left wrist and pull to the right. Press down through those legs. The sun doesn't rise and say, that's good enough, I'll just go halfway. Or maybe I won't even rise today because I'm just not in the mood. Come on back. Try the other side. I was thinking about that one time when I was watching dolphins at the ocean, and I'm like, I wonder if they ever wake up. I'm like, I'm just not in the mood to take that ride down the other side of the ocean. I'm not going to do it. Not in the mood. Or the sun, not in the mood to rise today. Good, come back. Now clasp your hands behind your back. Take the awkward hand hold, so the other thumb weaves in first. Shrug your shoulders towards your ears, draw your navel in, and bow forward. You can always bend those knees, keeping those shins slightly forward, navel in, ribs in. And then once again, sweep your arms forward and now come back into chair. This time, place your hands on your thighs and we'll inhale to look forward, exhale to round. At the end of that exhale, no breath at all, and pump your navel in and out. No breath, I shouldn't hear anything. Just navel moving. And then inhale, look forward. Exhale, round. No breath at all. You can even feel like you're rolling your belly from left to right, just churning, Agni Sara. Good, one more time. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, round, press your thighs down, churn your belly or pump your navel, no breath. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bow, standing forward bend. Great, place your hands on your hips. Slowly hug your hips in, but then press your legs down as you rise up to stand. Go slow. Fantastic. Good. Now take your elbows wide once you've arrived. Slightly pull your elbows forward so you can draw your shoulders back. Pull your ribs in. Now bend your knees just a little bit and send your butt back. Gorgeous. Now start to lean back. Watch your neck. If you need to tuck your chin, you could tuck your chin. Lean back, lean back. Now take your butt in a little bit more, lean back a little bit more. So you're really keeping those ribs drawn in. And then bow forward, clasp your hands behind your back once again. Take the arms up and over any amount. Let your left hand come to your outer right ankle, right arm to the sky. Please be aware that you're not locking your shins back. Raise your right shoulder a little closer to your ear. Yes. And gently switch sides. And also make sure one knee isn't coming more forward than the other. We tend to do that when we twist. Nice narrative, nice Katrin. And then release, good. Step back to plank pose. The air, the fire, the earth, the water. Earth as the observer, come forward past your wrist, lower all the way down, touch the earth, gaze it, and then rise up into cobra, maybe a little intoxicated cobra if you'd like, side to side. Nice, Ronnie. Nice, Kathy. Linda, good. Press back into child's pose. We are the earth keepers, the water keepers, the air keepers, fire keepers. Remember when we were talking about allowing ourselves to see stones as stone people instead of something that's inanimate. The water people, the earth people, the tree people. Rise up onto your hands and knees, stretch your right leg back behind you, your left arm out in front of you. Reach back for that ankle if you'd like, or stay right where you are. Keeping that fire center drawn in, moving that air through you. Again, the wind is a carrier, taking old energy away. Spread through those toes. And as you release, extend that right leg back behind you. Bring the knee down, but take your left arm out to the left. Right knee to the floor, left arm out to the left, and then thread it underneath the right. Enjoy your breath. You're low to the earth. Just imagine looking up. If you were the earth, your vision is always low to the ground, and what you see is always above you. You know, we're kind of like in the middle, right? So we can look up and we can look down, but the earth, it's looking up and it's seeing the magnificent trees that are hundreds of years old. It's seeing the tiny little ants that are crawling across its body. The earth, the water, the air, the fire, return, return, return. And with that, we can dream big. Come on up. Good. And then we'll stretch our right arm out in front of us, our left leg back. Remember, you're pulling from your center. So you begin at the center and then draw yourself long. And once you've expanded, then you draw back in. So there's a pulsation. Maybe reach back for that ankle. Maybe stay where you are. Part of this moving toward the solstice for me and for Josh is to bring back that sense of ritual. Bring back ritual. There's nothing mundane about every day. It's actually quite magical. Good. As you release the foot, lower the knee back down and then extend the right arm out to the right. Get it nice and high and then thread it underneath. Nice, Margie. Nice, Sarah. Angela, beautiful. See, what I think we've forgotten is the consciousness that is in all things. Consciousness in the wind, the consciousness in the fire, consciousness in the earth. I know none of you feel this way, but it's where we become bigger and better than all these elements. We think we know more. And I truly know the elements are laughing at us. I know that. I know they don't take things personal because we're dumb. Come on up, downward facing dog. Did she just call us dumb? Yep. Because we get caught up. Get caught up. Right foot steps forward. Take your arms to the sky, high lunge, please. What brought you up? The breath. What sustains you? That fire in your belly. What holds you? Empowers you? The earth beneath you. The water. The entire world and within ourselves made of water. Good. Bend your back knee. Take your arms forward. Don't lean forward, just take your arms forward. Interlace your palms and press your palms forward. Now tuck your chin to your chest. Pull your rib cage back. Set your fire center deeply in. And then start to straighten your back leg and take your arms up to the sky. Reach up. Straighten that back leg. Powerful back leg. Once again, bend that back knee. Let it hover a little lower. Reach your arms forward. Tuck your chin into your chest. Pull your ribs back. And then reach your arms back up to the sky and straighten that back leg. Now reach your hands completely up to the sky, so let go of holding hands. And lower your back knee slow, 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 slow until it touches the floor. Good. Interweave your hands onto your right thigh and press it forward. You're in a low lunge here. Nice low lunge. Right knee forward, right foot forward. Good. Now curl your chin into your chest again. Pull your navel in again. Nice. Nice, Elisa. Yeah. And then reach your arms up to the sky and take this really powerful, powerful lunge. So everything inside of you begins to integrate over and over again. Becomes more powerful, more sustaining, more fluid. Release the hands down to the floor. Downward facing dog. The water is the replenisher, right? It cycles and recycles. Roll forward to plank. Lower all the way down to your belly. Rise up into cobra. Feel the floor beneath you. Take it in. Press back into child's pose. Really beautiful, everybody. Maybe think today about fire as warm and loving and soft. How does that sound? Soft and loving and warm. As a communicator of new beginnings. Every flame having its own energy. Downward facing dog. So much of what I am offering myself is perspective, how I see things. Left foot forward, high lunge. And the big part of it is there a willingness to see things differently, even if you've seen things the same way for 50 plus years. Some of you aren't 50 in this room, I know. Good. Bend the back knee. Clasp your hands out in front of you. Stay tall. Turn your palms toward that front of your mat. And now curl your chin into your chest and round. Pull in. Now to straighten that back leg, reach your arms up and pulse. It's as if you're just pulling the spine long and just, you can't help but have that back leg go to straight. Keep the front knee bent. And then again, bend your back knee, reach your arms out in front of you, curl your chin into your chest and round. Pull into the kidneys, pull back. And then reach those arms up and go straight in that back leg. Beautiful. Did we do it 3 times? Let's try it one more time, even if we didn't. Back knee, bending, pull in. Yes, yes. And then reach up. Now release your hands, let your hands reach to the sky, sky energy, sky people, and then start to lower that back knee down to the mat nice and slow. Navel stays in. Good. Place your hands on your thigh and press that thigh forward. Yeah. Beautiful, everybody. And then when you'd like, go ahead and reach those arms up to the sky. Big stretch up. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do the same thing on each side the same way. Drop your hands down to the floor. Step back, downward facing dog. I told you I was a little Vata this morning. Forward to plank. Lower all the way down to your belly. Rise up into cobra. Feel the earth beneath you. Let it serve you well. Let you serve it well. Press back into child's pose. When you're drinking your water, think of it as a release. Yes, replenishing. We all know water is replenishing, but think of it as that which recycles. Put intention into your water as you're drinking it so it releases any cycles within you that are ready to release. Rise up, downward facing dog. And step your right foot forward, open to Virabhadrasana 2. Make sure that knee is pointing right at that second toe. And feel that spiraling air element within you, outside of you. Some of us are disturbed by air. Go ahead, straighten that front leg. Reach your right hand forward towards your right ankle, left arm to the sky, triangle. But if you have a Vata constitution, too much air is probably disturbing to you. If you have a Pitta constitution, you love air. And then we have that argument with the person in our house that wants to close the window or open the window. Or turn on the air or turn off the air. I know. Bend your front knee and come forward into half moon pose. And once we understand the healing elements, we argue less. We were talking about that right at the beginning of classes, how we lift each other higher. When we know each other, understand each other. Maybe reach back for your ankle or stay right where you are. The earth, the water, the air, the fire. Return, return, return. Good. Step back, downward facing dog. Beautiful work, everyone. Take it through vinyasa of your choice or none. You drink your water, bless it. Create intention as it moves through your body. Bringing sacred to mundane. Left foot forward, nice Jane. Left foot forward when you're ready. Open up Virabhadrasana 2. Settle in. Let the floor rise up into your feet and then settle your feet down into the floor. Breathe deeply here. Soften your eyes, right? You can have a fire in your eyes or the water of your eyes. Straighten your front leg and reach for triangle. Remember, when we move to that place of the eagle, we see in all directions. We're not confined to what is right in front of us. We can imagine the worlds, the dimensions, the unseen. Come forward into half moon. I tell that wonderful story of the four blind men that touch a different part of an elephant. Go ahead and reach for that ankle if you want to here, or stay right where you are. Squeeze those legs toward each other. Find the power of your body here. For each and every one of us knew how powerful this body was. And then release, downward facing dog. Take it through vinyasa of choice or none at all. So each blind man is at a different part of the elephant. So the one is, assured when it touches the tail that it's like a fan that doesn't know. It says, no, it's not an elephant. It's like a fan. One of them touches the part of their leg. Oh, no, it's a tree trunk. Like so sure, so confident, right? Yeah, I know you've done that. I've done it too. I've been super confident in how I think something is. And then it's not like that at all. Right foot forward, Vera two. And I've decided that my new favorite thing is to be wrong. My new favorite thing is not to be right, to be completely wrong, and to learn. Right forearm on right thigh or right hand to the floor, or take a bind. So come into side angle in the way that you would like to arrive. Maybe lift up your head so it's in line with your spine. And then keep that anchor into your back foot. And breathe. The air, the fire, the earth, the water. Return, return, return. Good, and then drop those hands down to the floor, plank pose. Left hand holds you, Vashisthasana. Let your right foot come on top of your left or drop your bottom knee. So you're just turning to the other side. So you're seeing from different perspectives. I was just facing the other way. And something else appears for you. And release that down, nice, Andra, and take it through vinyasa or not. Good, left foot steps forward. Nice, Angela. Left foot steps forward when you're ready. Vera two, second warrior. Side angle of choice. Experiment, play. See what gives you freedom and what creates a place of being stuck. Where's breath moving? Where's fire moving? Water moving? And the hands touch down to the floor and you step back and your right hand holds you for Vashisthasana. And you touch down. And you bring it all the way down to the floor and turn your cheek to the side. Co-creating with supreme consciousness means supreme dreams. So it's just good enough is really not good enough. Whatever you dream, bring it to that fullest point. I'm not saying it's easy. But part of when we dream is we then say, well, we don't have enough of this or enough of that, so what we have must be good enough. But if we see ourselves as supreme consciousness, then we have everything. Turn your cheek to the other side. I think I was telling some of you that Neil started to paint the house, and so in painting the house, that causes a whole can of worms to open, and so Josh decided to redecorate the entire house. And he did it in a way that I could have never imagined. Absolutely never imagined. Like he turned my dining room table the wrong way, you know, but it's perfect. He did things that I just couldn't have ever seen, but he saw, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And the universe just does that for us. It says, well, if you look at it a different way, maybe you'll love it just as much. Reach back for those ankles. And we're saying no. I mean, I definitely said no a couple of times to Josh, but I knew it was going to turn out fantastic. But I'm like, I don't know. Navel in, lift both halves of the body up. Open up your mouth, stick out your tongue. Maybe rock from side to side. Maybe flip all the way over. Maybe turn it all the way onto your back so you're in now a bridge pose. Keep holding your feet though. Hold your feet and flip over. Keep going, keep going, keep going until you come into a bridge. You can do it, you can do it, you can do it. There you go. If you flip over though, you have to flip back. Good. And then as you find yourself back onto your belly, again, release and turn your cheek to the side. Nice. Clear out your gut, your instinct, your intuition. Serve that fire of your belly to know which way to go. Good enough. Good. Take a breath back in child's pose, and then we'll take camel. So go ahead, go back into child's. Maybe take a breath or two. And then walk your hands up to your hips. Lift your knees, come up onto your knees. Maybe put a little blanket underneath your knees if you'd like. So remember when we were standing and we took our arms out to that cactus, and then we took our butt back a little bit. So do that. Take your arms out. Now take your butt back a little bit so it's awkward. Yeah. Now as your butt goes back, lift your elbows up more, lift your chest up more, as if my hand is on your heart center. Lift up into that, but take your butt back more. Take your butt. Yes. It's awkward. It's awkward. Yeah. Watch your throat getting tight here. Don't let it get tight. Good. Now start to lower your butt down towards your heels. Keep your arms up. Keep your chest lifted, but lower your butt down towards your heels. Good. And then lift back up. Try that again. Lower your butt down towards your heels so the groin keeps moving back in space. Keep lifting your chest. My hand is on your chest, so keep lifting. Yeah. And then come on up. Good. Now take your hands to your hips and do that same movement. Just take your hips back down to your heels. Do that again. You're just getting those groins to release, release, release. And then come back up. If you wanted to take it into that toe stretch for a minute where your toes are tucked and you sit on your heels and you stretch your toes, you're welcome to do that. The elements that reside in our feet, earth, water, fire, air. It's amazing. It's everywhere. Good. And then the next time you sit back onto your heels, take your hands to your ankles and try to lift up into your camel from the bottom up. Take your hands onto your heels and now start to come up into your camel. Yes. And then sit back onto your heels if you can. If you can't come to cross-legged, that's fine. And just rest for a moment there. Take a couple of breaths, please. And then come back up into that camel-like position. So lift your hips back up. And you're gonna reach for your right ankle and bring it up to your right hip. So you're gonna do a little thigh stretch here. So right hand, right ankle, lift the ankle off the floor, bring the heel up to your hip. And then take your left arm up to the sky as if you're gonna stretch up and back, like you're gonna take that arm all the way back for a back bend, but root that right knee down into the floor. Take that outer armpit back just a little bit more. Keep the knee on the floor though. Push the knee down. Good, change sides. So that action of rooting that knee down gets that whole front of your thigh to get a little bit longer. And then take that outer armpit of that right arm back, lift your head up, lean back. Beautiful, and release that. Nice, Kathy, and downward facing dog. Stepping your right foot forward when you're ready. Come into that nice low lunge again. Right foot forward, low lunge. Put your knee on the floor. And if you want something underneath your knee, you can put a blanket. Nice, Susan. And your right foot forward. So you're in a low lunge, not knee, foot forward. There you go. And then I'd like you to reach back for your left ankle. So left hand, left ankle for a thigh stretch. Make sure your knee is not directly underneath your hip. And if you're suffering here, put a blanket or roll up your mat twice. I'm going to give you the option to take your right hand back to that left ankle as well. If that doesn't work, that's totally fine. One hand. Nice, Angela. I love pulling it in first toward that outer hip and then start to pull that foot away from you as you lift the chest. Send your right knee forward. Don't let it come back with you. The trick here and the fun here is almost trying to bring that foot all the way down to the floor as if you were in camel, but you keep sending your knee forward. You're like, I don't know about the word fun, but good. And gently release. Good. Switch sides. You can jump switch or step switch. Crawl switch. Cry switch. Whatever you want to do. Yeah. Nice, Meredith. Yep. Find that nice low lunge. Great, Ronnie. When you feel ready, you can reach your right hand back for the ankle. Left hand back if you'd like. Pull the heel in, lift the chest a lot, spread the toes. Soften your throat. Andrew, you okay? Good. Pull that foot away from you if you can. Nice, Ronnie. Yep. Nice, Linda. Nice, Jane. And release. Good. Downward facing dog. You walk or jump to squat, please. Pause here. Earth, the water, the air, the fire, return, return, return. Earth keepers, fire keepers, water keepers. Consciousness that flows everywhere, through everything, for us. Placing your hands down onto the floor, standing forward, bend, then rising up to stand. Come on up. Pause for a moment, just feel, maybe even close your eyes. Tadasana from standing. Let's first take Natrajasana in that kind of wacky place where it's not reaching back for the ankle, but instead take your left knee up into your chest and send it in front of your body. So it's like your shin coming in front of your thigh, and then bend your right thigh, bend your right knee so your butt goes back. Good. And then take your right arm up to the sky, Jnana Mudra, your left hand underneath your navel, both hands holding the mudra, thumb and first finger touching. Yep. So one underneath your navel, one over your head. There you go. Make sure you go deep into this. So sit back a lot. If you look at the depiction of any Nataraj, this is kind of what it looks like, dancing Nataraj.
Nataraj is the Shiva?
Yeah, the dancing Shiva. Yep. Good. Rise up and release. One of the things that is interesting about this form of Nataraj is if you look at the statue, he is standing, Shiva is standing on Apasmara, which is the dwarf, which is the energy of illusion. He's dancing on illusion. Try the other side. So if we actually connect to that idea of dancing on illusion, it's not just what's in front of us. It's not just what we see, feel, or taste. There's so much more. We can dance on that. We can find a world inside of that. So your shin crosses in front of your opposite leg. Your standing leg bends, so your butt goes back. And then you switch the left arm up to the sky and the right hand comes underneath the navel. Make sure that right shin doesn't touch your standing leg because it wants to be floating out in space in front of you. Yeah. And you're breathing. And then rise up. Nice, everybody. Yes, yes, yes. You're a snapshot in time. That's what you are. All right, let's go into the eagle pose. So right knee on top of left knee, left elbow on top of right elbow. And to be that perception of the eagle is to be connected with our higher source of consciousness. That's the way the shamans see it. The eagle is our highest source of consciousness. So sit your butt way down. Find your eyes and your perspective being very wide and open. Your breath deep. And fly away. When you're ready, you can try the second side. And take it slow. Try not to let your hips turn, so keeping your hips square. Steadiness of mind. And fly away. It's important that we find ourselves in very awkward situations and we find steadiness of mind, right? Those places that we're completely bound and we set free the mind. Good. Inhale the arms to the sky. Exhale, bow forward. Step back, plank pose. Lower all the way down to your belly. And then just flip onto your back, please. Plant your knees with your, plant your feet with your knees bent. Construct a breast pose and do some long, deep breathing here. For most of us, time is defined by ticking clocks and calendars or past histories or future plans. We've probably been raised to think that time flies like an arrow. That is, it has an irreversible flow from the past to the present, like a leaf that falls into the water and then floats downstream. But from the shaman's point of view, time zigzags between tomorrow and yesterday. It's like a river coursing lazily to the sea. And deep under its surface, there's a tide streaming back to its source and moving forward into infinity. Those of us that can learn how to journey this past, which influences the future, which can be shifted. It says this in our teachings of yoga so clearly. The more work that we do in perspective and how we see things, we can change what's going to come. Even karmas, it says. I remember Neil telling the story about that the arrow can either hit the hat or the person, which means that if we do this really powerful work to shift our karmas, whatever's coming at us will still come at us, but it might just take our hat off instead of taking us completely down. When you're ready, go ahead and lift your hips up into bridge. You can clasp your hands underneath you, or maybe keep the robot arms, but keep your chest lifting like crazy. Again, like my hand is there, and you're pressing up into that space so you have so much, not just enough. Lift your chin up so the sides of your throat can breathe deeply, and then soften your ribs so you can let in and let go. As you drink your water today, place intention into it. Place your dreams there. And then slowly release back down. Now lift your lift your hips and shift your hips slightly to the right. And then go ahead and send your left leg back down to the floor, but hug your right knee into your chest and take your right knee to the left for spinal twists. You got to shift those hips slightly. And then if you'd like to, reach your right hand down to reach for your ankle. So your right hand reaches for your left ankle. I love this pose. To me, it's long. Kim, you got to bring your knee over. So you're reaching down for your other. Not that one, not that one, the other one. Correct. Yeah, your left hand can be onto that right knee if you want to support it. Yeah, I love this pose. For me, I go just into this incredible place of peace. But if you can't reach for your ankle, don't do it. Just stay in the twist and breathe. Fire as the communicator, water as the recycler and replenisher, earth as the observer, and wind as the carrier. Earth, the water, the fire, the air, return, return, return. It's a song. And come back to center, and we'll switch to the other side. Take your time. Long, deep breathing here. We know that in Ayurveda that the time of the year that we can eat more of the things that are raw. And I know there's a lot of different arguments about raw food and cooked food, but according to Ayurveda, it's the nicest way to say it, so you can't argue with me. Cooked food is easier to digest, so generally for good digestion and for foods we eat, we make sure we cook our food. But in the summer, we can go back into eating the raw foods because the sun is out and it helps us digest our food. So during the sun time, moving toward the solstice, we're able to use that sun energy to manifest. So that's really one of the reasons that to work with our dreams during this time is very powerful too. Come on back, hug your knees into your chest. Maybe take a happy baby pose for just a moment. And then reach your right leg down straight to the floor, but don't let it touch the floor. So just let that leg hover. And then take the left leg straight up to the sky. Bring your arms to a letter T. So your right leg is hovering, your left leg is up to the sky. Both feet are flexed. Your navel's in, your ribs are in. You can even feel your rib cage pressed to the floor and your chest lift a little higher. And then change this, take the other leg up and let the other leg hover. Navel in, ribs in. Support this. You can even press your palms down if that helps you. And then bring your knees back into your chest, hug in. Maybe placing your hands on your knees, just push your hands into your knees and your knees into your hands. So again, that dissolves the low back. And then prepare to come into an inversion. Maybe that's taking your legs just straight up to the sky and staying right there. Maybe shoulder stand, maybe headstand or handstand. Any restorative pose is also very welcome here. Wherever you find yourself, keep breathing deeply and find that intimate connection with the elements. That's why the elements exist within us. First chakra, second chakra, third chakra, fourth chakra. Earth, water, fire, air. And then we add yogically the etheric point. So after we move up through the throat and the crown of the head, and then we move beyond the 8th and 9th chakra. And this 21 days Josh and I are doing, we're taking it into even more powerful energies that are spiraling vortexes called chakras. The earth, the water, the fire, the air, return, return, return. One more minute here. Be the observer like Earth. Imagine how Earth watches everything and sees everything. That's why, if you get confused and you need an answer to something, go sit with the Earth. She will reveal what she knows to be truth. She has seen everything. And returning out of your inversion, so coming down or coming up, whatever way your inversion releases. And we'll find ourselves sitting together, comfortable cross-legged position. Close your eyes once you've arrived. Your hands can be up or down. Let yourself feel which way is more supportive for you today. Bring your mind up to the space above the head. Call it the eighth chakra. Breathe there. And I want you to know that so many of these details that we bring into this practice is just for your awareness. You don't have to agree or not agree. I don't believe there's an eighth chakra, whatever. That's not the point of any of this. Just move into the space and breathe and see what your experience is without having any knowledge, right or wrong. Move deeply up into the space above the head, maybe 6 inches above the head. Take some deep breaths here. If you're a little spacey like me today, you can always keep breathing down into your root as you're gazing way up 6 inches above the head. And then I want you to take it even 6 inches higher. Go higher. If anyone feels any sense of dizziness or headachiness, it's possible. I'm not going to get into it right now, but it's definitely possible. You're connecting to a deep healing space. And choose to either stay here, get to know this space, or choose to lay down on your back and really relax, Shavasana. Go ahead and begin to deepen your breath. Your body's stretched in any way that feels really good for you. And if you're lying down, hug your knees into your chest, roll to the right side, come on up to sit. Maybe for today, observe how one of the elements is your partner in crime. Bring your hands together, your heart center, the earth, the water, the fire, the air. Return, return, return. Inhale for the sound of Om. Om. Sliding your hands to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste, everybody. Thank you so much. Just to remind you, if you wanted to take Veronica's class, she's at a new time on Thursday nights, which is 6. And we're starting a new class tonight at 7:30 with mantra and chanting and all kinds of wonderful music. So if you'd like to join us, we'd love to have you as well. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, Cheryl. You too. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Goodbye. You're welcome. Goodbye. 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 Love, love.